Greetings, greetings, and gratitude to all life forms and life workers who have found this part two, Book Club Now. I am your book club host, the Third Eye Lion. Welcome to this broadcast. Chapter 2, The Seven Hermetic Principles. The principles of truth are seven. He who knows these understandingly possesses the magic key before which touches all the doors of the temple fly open, the Kybalion. The seven Hermetic principles upon which the entire Hermetic philosophy is based are as follows. Principle 1, Mentalism. Principle 2, Correspondence. Principle 3, Vibration. Principle 4, Polarity. Principle 5, Rhythm. Principle 7, Cause and Effect. Principle 8, Gender. Those seven principles will be discussed and explained as we proceed with these lessons. A short explanation of each, however, may as well be given at this point. First, we begin the principle of mentalism. The all is mind, the universe is mental, the Kybalion. This principle embodies the truth that all is mind. It explains that the all, which is this substantial reality underlying all the outward manifestations and appearances, which we know under the term as the material universe, slash the phenomena of life, matter, energy, and in short all that is apparent to our mental states, is spirit, which in itself is unknowable and uneffable, but which may be considered and thought of as a universal, infinite, living mind. It also explains that all the phenomenal world or universe is simply a mental creation of the all, subject to laws of created things, and that the universe as a whole and in its parts or units has in essence the mind of the all, in which mind we live and move and have our being. This principle, by establishing the mental nature of the universe, easily explains all varied mental and psychic phenomena that occupy such a large portion of the public attention, and which, without such explanation, are non-understandable and defy scientific treatment. An understanding of this great Hermetic principle of mentalism enables the individual to readily grasp the laws of the mental universe and apply the same to his well-being and his vibrant advancements. The Hermetic student is enabled to apply intelligently the great mental laws instead of using them in a haphazard manner. With the master key in his possession, the student may unlock the many doors of the mental and physical temples of knowledge, and enter the same freely and intelligibly. The principle explains the true nature of energy, power, matter, and why and how all these are subservient to the mastery of mind. One of the old Hermetic masters wrote long time ago, he who grasps the truth of the mental nature of the universe is well advanced on the path to mastery. And these words are as true today as they were when they first were written. Without this master key, mastery is impossible, and the student knocks in vain at the many doors of the temple. The principle of correspondence. As above, so below. As below, so above the volume. The principle embodies the truth that there is always a correspondence between the law and phenomena of the varied planes of being and life. The old Hermetic axiom, in these words, as above, so below, as below, so above. And the grasping of this principle gives one the means of solving many dark phenomena and paradoxes and hidden secrets of nature. There are planes beyond our knowing, but when we apply the principle of correspondence to them, we are able to understand much that would otherwise be unknowable to us. This principle is of universal application and manifestation on the various planes of mental, material, and spiritual universe. It is a universal law. The ancient Hermetics considered this principle as one of the most important mental instruments by which man was able to pry aside the obstacles which hid from view the unknown. Its use even tore aside the veil of Isis to the extent that a glimpse of the face of the goddess might be caught, just as a knowledge of the principle of geometry enables man to discover distant suns and their movements while seated in his observatory. So a knowledge of the principle of correspondence enables man to reason intelligibly from the known to the unknown. Studying the monad, he understands the archangel. The principle of vibration. Number 3. Nothing rests, everything moves, everything vibrates. The Kybalion. The principle embodies the truth that everything is in motion, everything vibrates. Nothing is at rest. Facts which modern science endorses and which each new scientific discovery tends to verify. And yet this Hermetic principle was adjudicated thousands of years ago by the masters of ancient Egypt. The principle explains that the difference between different manifestations of matter, energy, mind, and even spirit result largely from varying rates of vibration, from the all, which is pure spirit, down to the grossest form of matter. All is in vibration. The higher the vibration, the higher the portion in the scale. The vibration of spirit is such an infinite rate of intensity and rapidity that it is practically at rest. Yet, as a rapidly moving wheel seems to be motionless, at the other end of the scale, there are gross forms of matter whose vibrations are so low that they seem at rest. Between these poles, there are of millions of varying degrees of vibration, from corpuscle to an electron, atom and molecule, the worlds and universes, everything in vibration, in vibratory motion. This is also true on the planes of energy and force. which we are by varying degrees of vibration, and also on the mental planes, whose states depend upon vibration, and even on the spiritual planes. An understanding of this principle with the appropriate formulas enables Hermetic students to control their own mental vibration as well of those of others. The masters also apply this principle to the conquering of natural phenomena in various ways. He who understands the principle of vibration has grips the specter of power, has grasped the scepter of power, says one of the old writers. The principle of polarity. Everything is dual, everything has poles, everything has its pairs of opposites. Like and unlike are the same. Opposites are identical in nature, but different in degree. Extremes meet. All truths are but half-truths, all paradoxes may be rectified, the Kybalion. This principle embodies the truth that everything is dual, everything has two poles, everything has its pairs of opposites, all of which were old Hermetic axioms. It explains the old paradoxes that have perplexed so many, which have been stated as follows. Thesis and antithesis are identical in nature, but different in degree. Opposites are the same, differing only in degree. The pairs of opposites may be rectified. Extremes meet. Everything is and isn't at the same time. All truths are but half-truths. Every truth is half false. There are two sides to everything, etc., etc. It explains that in everything there are two poles, or opposite aspects, and that opposites are really only the two extremes of the same thing, which many varying degrees between them. To illustrate, heat and cold, although opposites, are really the same thing. The difference considering merely the degree in which of the same thing. Look at your thermometer and see if you can discover where heat terminates and cold begins. There is no such thing as absolute heat or absolute cold. The two terms heat and cold simply indicate varying degrees of the same thing, and that same thing, which manifests as heat and cold, is merely a form, variety, and rate of vibration. So heat and cold are simply the two poles, of which we call heat, and the phenomena attaining thereupon are manifestations of the principle of polarity. The same principle manifests in the case of light and darkness, which are the same thing. The difference considering the varying degrees between the two poles of the phenomena. Where does darkness leave off and light begin? What is the difference between large and small, hard and soft, between black and white, between sharp and dull, between noise and quiet, between low and high, between positive and negative? The principle of polarity explains these paradoxes, and no other principle can supersede it. The same principle operates on the mental plane. Let us take a radical and extreme example, that of love and hate. Two mental states apparently totally different, yet they are degrees of hate and degrees of love, and a middle point in which we use the term like or dislike, which shades into each other so gradually that sometimes we are at a loss to know whether we like or dislike, or neither, and all simply degrees of the same thing, as you will see if you will think but a moment, and more than it More than this, and con- consi- considered of more importance by the Hermetics, it is possible to change the vibration of hate to the vibration of love in one's own mind and in the minds of others. Many of you who read these lines have personal experiences of the involuntary rapid transformation from love to hate, and in reverse, in your own ease and that of others, and you will therefore realize the possibility of this being accomplished by the use of the will, by means of the Hermetic formulas. Good and evil are both the poles of the same thing, and the Hermetics understand the art of transmuting evil to good by the means of the, appli- the application of the principle of polarity. In short, the art of polarization becomes a mental phase of mental alchemy, known and practiced by the ancient and modern Hermetic masters. An understanding of this principle will enable one to change one's own polarity as well as that of others, if he will devote the time and study to the necessary to master the art. So thank you, anyone who has found this. I will begin the meditation. This chapter will be broken up into two videos. We will begin with 3-4 long inhales and exhales. In your mind's eye, imagine around you 7 ancient books, 4 of them wide open, shining light into the cosmos, so bright the fear of blinding may arise. Know that you are this light, and it cannot harm you, because it is you. As you approach it, you feel it, you radiate to it, you connect to this light of knowledge. You look at the closed books, you look at the open, you look at the space, you allow your senses to activate now. What do you hear? What do you smell? What do you taste? What do you feel? What do you smell? When you open your eyes in this space, what is the environment in which you see as you walk back and forth through these mighty books? You feel their power. You feel your power. You sit in the center. You can pause this meditation if you would like more time with these books. As you arise, you feel the power spike. Now all the books become open, radiating their cosmic light so much that you cannot see a word of these books. The massive columns of light stretch far past the barrier of this planet to the infinite universe, the heart of all knowledge, connected to the infinite code of all things. You sit in this space and you allow it to spin and harmonize, radiate this energy within, and allow it to echo throughout in this and all moments. You can return to your body now, stretch, reconnect, knowing that you have the knowing that you did not have before. Thank you for your time, and stay tuned for part 3. Thank you.